He doesn't miss too many, and this of course gives Greek a very handy lead going into half-time. Yes, he split the middle, straight through the middle. There's another goal to Greek. The score is reading now, Greek 8 goals 7 to Riverside 4 goals 7. This is the biggest lead of the match so far. Greek have gone way ahead with this game. They've played all over Riverside in this quarter, and Riverside just haven't capitalised at all. They're winning in the centre ruck all the time. They bring the ball out of the centre, and this is what's causing Riverside their problem. They've got no understanding whatsoever in the centre square, Riverside haven't. Bubbles is being absolutely thrashed. The ball's punched out again by anyway, Clarence grabs a Greek player and he's not in possession. Of course, the free kick goes to Aaron Armon, who's played a pretty good game for Greek, a very handy game. Hoffner runs down there, too late, Hoffner. The umpire's called play on. I can't understand why it was a mark to Greek. It's picked up, it's kicked in. Greek are starting to play all over Riverside. Riverside's backline is in tangles. They just can't cover what's going on. Kretschmer's the only backline player that's prepared to run and help his teammates. At least he's running all the time. Here's Kretschmer running down here beside Clohessy, giving him advice and helping him. Good play, Kretschmer, but you can't do it on you. Pedersen is absolutely hopeless. He should not be out on the ground. He's done absolutely nothing. Anyway, the ball's kicked out on a full, thank goodness for Riverside. It'll get the free kick and it'll go to Chloe, who gives it across to Colsey, who's been fairly quiet. A long kick to Colsey, straight down to the forward line. Where does Pedersen go? Absolutely under the ball. He can't control it. It's now Ivan Coles has got it, handballs it over. It wasn't Ivan Coles. Here's it is over to Grant Montgomery. Grant Montgomery waits, sets up play. Pedersen gets caught. Stupid bloody football. Well, I can't understand why Montgomery did that. Great mark by Manuel out here on the wing. And Manuel will go back. Go for a long kick, Jeffrey. Don't muck around. You can put the ball on the goal square. Jeffrey Manuel's going to line it up. He's around about 60 yards out directly in front. Right on the edge of the square. It's a long kick by Jeff Manuels, right into the 10-yard square, and Bubbles flies, but the ball's brought through for a point. I can't understand why Montgomery did that. He was calling a play to set up play. Greek had come out with the ball. Now Montgomery's tackled him. The Greek player still got up with the ball. He's caught. No free kick. Play on. What are you going to do this time, Monty? Kick the ball off the ground straight into a Greek player. Where does the ball go? Out of bounds. Well, there you are. There's the half-time siren. There's the half-time siren, and the Greek Football Club should be very proud of themselves. They've gone to a very handy lead of 8 goals, 7.55 to Riverside 4.832. Shortly, we'll be having an interview with the umpire's coach, Mr. Les Dabron, who has been a member of the Amateur League for many, many years, and as I see it, this year, being his second year, I think, or might even be his third year as umpire's coach, has done an excellent job. But we'll be with you shortly. The one thing we want you to remember is that we have a number in the Riverside Football Club, such as Black Rooster Chickens down Riverside Way. If you need a good chicken any day, I'm talking about a two-legged bird, of course, just give them a ring on 496035. And those that like to have a good cigarette, there ain't too many of them around, don't forget to try Camel filters. They're a great smoke. You also, Danny O'Brien, he's a master painter. I can tell you he's a good painter because he painted my house and the price was right, and I was quite pleased with the job he did. Other people, we've got Port Sports Store. They're a great mob. They really support us to the fullest. Any supporting supplies you want, go and see them. They've got everything. They've got all your cricketing needs, your football needs, soccer, whatever you want. The Port Sports Store's got it. The Kent Hotel, I spoke to you all about the Kent Hotel last week. The mine host there, Dale McLean, a nice little bloke you couldn't want to meet because he's a great guy. Go down and see Dale, have a beer with him. Counter lunches they supply down there and evening dinners and magnificent meals, and go down and try them. But the biggest surprise you'll get is the price. The price is very cheap. Portland Hotel, one of our major sponsors again, great people there. Alvy's not there anymore, but the new chapter's taken over, still supporting us. We also have the Messenger Press supporters. But ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to go and see these sponsors and support them, because by you supporting them, it's helping us. we're just going to break for just for a minute now, and then we're talking to Mr. Les Davron, the umpire's coach. Well, with me here, as I said, I've got Les Davron, the umpire's coach. Les has been the umpire's coach for the last 2 years. Prior to that, Les was well known as an umpire himself, an A-grade umpire. And the one thing that I don't think a lot of people would know was that Les was the first administration manager of the South Australian Amateur Football League. And during his period there, he did an excellent job also. Les, how do you see the game so far?
Well, Brian, I think it's an excellent pressure game of grand finals football. A couple of little undisciplined players out there, but the umpire's got full control, and I think he's doing an excellent job, and I hope he continues in the same vein.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm inclined to agree with you, Les. At one stage there, I thought he was going to lose control of it, but he soon regained it, and I think he's done a fair job at the moment. Was you surprised at all to find that John Cranwell didn't get this game?
No, I wasn't surprised. It was a very hard decision. It was a split decision by the board. John was very unlucky, but by the same token, Chris has vindicated the decision of the board with his performance in the first half so far. Well,
as the game has gone, Greek are about 4 goals in front. Well, they are 4 goals in front. Can you see Riverside being able to get out of this?
Riverside can always get out of this situation. They are a very strong, disciplined side, very well coached. It's just a matter of getting run and confidence to approach the ball. Their confidence is not there at the present time. Players not lifting their eyes and steadying under pressure, but I'm sure that Noel will speak to them at half-time as he normally does, and they'll get back in the game. There's no doubt about that.
Well, where do you think, Les, Riverside getting beaten at the moment?
I think they're not getting the ball out of the square. I don't think they're getting enough run from Stevie Milne and Giles and Filippo and the Little Rovers are doing far too much damage out of that centre square.
Well, now, if you were in Noel's position, what would be some of the suggestions that you'd probably hand to him?
Well, I would suggest that they start talking, they start running. They're not running. Get their running game going. That's what's missing at the present moment, but above all, confidence in their own ability.
Thanks, Les. Just a few little things about yourself. What's been the most exciting period of time you've had when you've been umpiring yourself?
Well, the most exciting thing that I found when I was umpiring was to umpire a grand final. It's what you aim for all the year, and to umpire a grand final is just tops off what is the hard work that you put into any season.
Right. Well, now, it'd be remiss of me if I didn't ask you, how many grand finals have you umpired?
Oh, over a period of 28 years, Brian, I'm afraid I've lost count, but I've umpired grand finals from Adelaide to Broken Hill to Ceduna, and I've made many friends and not too many enemies, not until this year anyhow. Well,
have you made enemies this year yourself, Les, and why do you think you've made enemies?
Brian, there's an element of this creeping into our football, especially in junior grades, where there's a total lack of self-discipline, total lack of respect for persons in authority. We, as umpires and stewards, you don't like to do these things, but, well, they're part of the game, but it's the players that have got to learn to accept authority and accept self-discipline.
And, well, what way can we do something about this?
Well, I think that we got to have 2 umpire system. I think it's a must these days. But we've got to have more people who are willing to devote their time as stewards, and players and clubs have got to respect these stewards, that they are doing a job to improve the image of football, to improve the image of amateur football. After all, that's what we're all about. Right,
it's a fair comment on that. Well, they tell me there's a big rumour about this, Les. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they tell me that you're considering retiring after today's game.
Yes, Brian, 5:30 this afternoon, when I walk out of the Norwood Oval, I will cease to be a part of amateur football. for season 1985 at least. I'm going to have a 12-month break.
Well, you know, your loss to amateur football is going to be a big one. You know, your shoes are pretty hard to fill. Have you got any tips you'd like to pass on to perhaps any budding umpires that will be watching this show?
Well, any budding umpires, you've got to learn to get out and you've got to be fit. You've got to have a knowledge of the rules, but above all, mix with the fellow senior umpires who have had the experience and listen to their experiences and be willing to listen and learn.
Well, you've seen a lot in your days. Could you rate an umpire? Like, who would be the best umpire you've ever seen?
I would have to rate two umpires in my lifetime that I've seen who I consider were great umpires. K.L. Applin was the first one, and the second one, of course, whilst he didn't have the K.L. Applin flair, he was a top umpire, and that was Ken Cunningham.
Well, the KG himself, I don't pass much on the KG personally. He might have been a good umpire, but he's terrible on radio. Most people love him. Les, what are you going to do with yourself though next year? You know, if you're not going to be an umpire's coach, what are you going to do? You're not the type of guy that could just walk around doing nothing.
Brian, after 28 years, I've decided that I'm going to devote my Saturdays to gardening and let my wife get out and see some football for a change. Well,
because you know, everybody that knows, well, if they don't know, Les's wife, Elaine Davern, is the office manager of the South Australian Amateur Football League, and of course, with both of them being tied up in the jobs they've got, they don't see a lot of each other, and I suppose Elaine at times thinks, well, this is okay too, but then again, she doesn't get out to see much football, and I can understand what you're saying, Les. But look, one of the final things I want to ask you, Les, during your years of being involved with football and umpiring, you must have heard a lot of funny stories. How about telling us one?
Well, possibly the funniest story I could tell happened this year in a game that I was umpiring, Wingfield versus Norwood Union. A very tight game in the last quarter, and lo and behold, I blow the whistle for a pack, and who should be the first into the pack but a German Shepherd dog. I held up play and asked for some help to get the dog removed from the ground, and one of the players said to me, "Listen, Umpy, I'll fix him," and immediately went up and drop kicked the dog under the jaw, and the next minute there was another player about to thump this other player on the grounds of cruelty to dumb animals, and I thought it was the first time I was ever going to get a report over a dog.
Fine, Les. Well, you couldn't report the dog, and you couldn't report the bloke for drop kicking him or the behind-the-play incidents. Les, what I'd like to say to you is this, that your loss to amateur league football is going to be a great one. I know that over the years you've been outspoken, and this is great because I need people like you in the amateur league. You're very much a man of my own heart. I'm probably going to shock all amateur league followers this year because Brian Lees is going to sit for the elections back on the executive of amateur league. And Les, I think you'd be great if you were back there too. What do you think about it?
No, Brian, I think I've just got to have a break, but 1986 could be a different kettle of fish.
Okay, Les Davern, ladies and gentlemen, we wish you well in the future, Les, and perhaps if we get a chance at 5:30, if we've got anything left in our tape, we might speak to you again because you might tell us a few more things you can't tell us right at the moment. Les Davern, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Les. Okay, we're ready to start the second half of this game, and these are the grand final quarters, the third and fourth. At Riverside put themselves in a spot. It's got me tossed, I tell you what, they're going to have to work damn hard now to get out of this because They haven't played well at all. Greek have certainly led the way, and unfortunately Riverside have crashed underneath them, to put it mildly. They haven't done a lot. They can't get the ball out of the centre square. They haven't got enough players that are prepared to run. They won't work. And the biggest shock is seeing the team line up. Noel Lanier, the Riverside coach, the famous number 1 Guernsey you wear, is not on the ground. So Noel Lanier is off. He's off injured. I would think that it's probably his groin, and I just say to myself, is this Noel Lanier's last game of football for the Riverside Football Club? Okay, the ball's at the centre, ready to be thrown up for the start of the third quarter. We've got Bubbles Milne against Richo. Richo's won the tap, as he always does. The ball's come down to Kretschmer. He can't handle the ball. He lays over the top of it. Throw up again, Richo and Bubbles again, and Bubbles uses his weight this time. It's the first time he's used it all day, and it's about damn time. Vinny's got the ball, he comes out, he kicks it, and it's towards the wing. Ivan Coles is running for it. The bounce doesn't favour him. Hoffner punches the ball forward, chases it with more pace, handballs it over to Simons, who loses control of it. And what happens? But Greek smuggle on the ball, handball it out. Well done, Mark Hoffner. He comes down and Mark Kretschmer picks the ball up, handballs across to Simons. Simons has got the ball. He shoots it down as a shot for goal. It's a long shot, but it's marked in the fullback by the number 1 player, who is Paul Darby. Big kick out by Darby. Richardson pushes everybody in the back. The umpire doesn't see it. Richardson's got the ball. He runs through. He handballs over the Bubbles Milne, standing flat foot, punches the ball out of Richardson's hand. The ball's thrown in. Here it goes. Picked up by Vinny Lebrani. Vinny's got the ball. He tries to sidestep. Handballs to Hamilton. Hamill's got it. He's looking for a player to kick to. He's got nobody. A great little mark, but no, it's not played. And Peterson handballs over to Manuel. It wasn't a drop punt hand pass. It was a shocking hand pass. Greek removed the ball. They get the ball, hand pass about. It's a long kick straight in the centre ground. Philippo's got it. He handballs is on, looking for Mick Kenny. But the tank's there. Tasnowski. He handballs it across to Kenny. He can't take the ball. They all drop on the ball. Number 3 of Greek picks it up, and that happens to be Harry Sturvis. He handballs that close. He's got the ball, and the umpire says, give it to me. He said, I'll throw it up. It's right on the centre half forward line, or a little bit closer to goal.